Hello, football fans, and welcome back to another James Talks About the NFL. And recently, just in the past couple of days, JJ Watt has re injured his back, and now he could possibly miss the rest of the season. Which I will say that injuries, no matter who gets injured, I hate that players have to get injured. I mean, no matter if it's Robert Griffin III for like the third time, it still sucks that he got injured week one. But he is not who. But I'm not going to be talking about RG3. Otherwise, I would have talked about him the day I made that Jack Del Rio video as my first ever video on here. But anyway, so I'm going to be talking about what I think a JJ Watt injury, where worst case scenario is he is not going to play for the rest of the year, which could very well happen. So, my verdict on it is that obviously it sucks, but I say that the Texans defense is at least going to struggle some in his absence, and hopefully is a quick recovery. Let me just say that too. But this means that the Texans defense will have to step up to replace one of the best defensive ends, if not the best defensive end in the NFL right now. Which that means Jadeveon Clowney has to get more involved, the pass rush has to get involved. Which probably means defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel for the Texans has to get more creative with his defenses. Seeing as though a great talent is injured and cannot play for gosh knows how many weeks. Once again, hopefully JJ Watt has a quick recovery from his back injury. But in terms of what I think this means for the Texans team as a whole, I do not think that this team is technically eliminated from the playoffs. I just think that there is a tougher road to get to the playoffs now, because that defense will suffer a little bit, and thus the defense and Brock Osweiler, DeAndre Hopkins, and Lamar Miller on offense will have to step up and be able to score more points, because last Thursday's game against the Patriots in Foxborough it just wasn't unacceptable. It just wasn't kind of unacceptable. It was unacceptable. The fact that you have 5 turnovers, especially against New England, where maybe if you don't even, where in some cases, even if you win the turnover battle by a good turnover or two, you could still lose the game. That is how good the Patriots are. And not all playoff teams are as good as the Patriots are, but they are good enough to where you don't want to turn the ball over on any of them. And it would suck to really lose the turnover battle against a playoff caliber team that can really turn those turnovers into points. Now, that is what first thing Texans need to correct on. Now, they need to score more points. Brock Osweiler needs to look better. I mean, they're still first place in the AFC South, but yes, I know that is a weak division, and that is why I'm not writing them off. But if they were in like the AFC North, which I think is going to be a very, very tough division with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati all vying for playoff spots. And Cleveland's slowly looking better and better. Just as I said last video, briefly. But yeah, so I would write them off if they were in that division, but since they're not in that division, and since they're in like the easiest division in all of football now, the NFC East has gotten better. With the Eagles and Giants looking pretty good, and the Cowboys looking better than last year. But that's kind of besides the point. My point is that I think they can make the playoffs, especially since they're in a weak AFC South. I mean, I think second place, the Colts and Titans are tied at like 1 and 2. So the Texans have a safety net to fall back on. But on any given Sunday, anything can happen, so I wouldn't be comfortable with that amount of safety net in the NFL, no matter which team I am. Well, not too comfortable. Unless it was like the final week where it was like we need to win, or have the other team lose, or another team lose, but that's also besides the point. So I think the Texans can make it to the playoffs. It's just a matter of who they would face in the playoffs, probably at home. Especially if they win their division, which at this point I couldn't imagine two AFC South teams going to the playoffs. I can imagine maybe the Jets and the Patriots out of the AFC East, and then the second place in the AFC North going to the playoffs. And the AFC is the wild card, is the other wild card. Or maybe another team in the AFC West besides their division champion going in as a wild card. Like the Chiefs or the Raiders or the Broncos, perhaps. But hey, it's hard to tell. It's just... Tomorrow night kicks off week 4, so I am not too sure. But yeah. I'm just not sure who's going to make the playoffs right now. It's just hard for me to tell. It's funny, I had someone ask me that like a couple of weeks ago. Like, oh yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Like, who do you think is going to make it to the playoffs? Like, we've only played 1 week thus far, and this was the Friday night before week 2. So we'd only played 1 week, plus that Bills-Jets game, which I covered that Friday. Or that Saturday. Sorry. Yeah, I don't upload here on Fridays. Just Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. But yeah, I do not think the Texans season is over. I just know that the defense will lack a little bit without J.J. Watt. And there, you got Whitney Merciless and you got Jadeveon Clowney to bring pressure that really need to step up now, and that could use this time that J.J. Watt's out to gain some valuable playing time. I mean, I really think that they could gain some valuable playing time as starters. But all I can say, and I think Texans head coach Bill O'Brien will agree with me on this, and that players need to step up in the absence of J.J. Watt. It is next man up in the NFL. And, man, I wish the best of luck to the Texans. And, I mean, Vince Wilfork at defensive tackle has to get more pressure now, but he's like, what? 35 years old now? I mean, seriously, how old is this guy? I can't exactly. Yeah, let me try to quickly do this. Can I even type in the no, my thing's over. Okay. You're probably hearing me type on my keyboard, which is perfectly okay. But it's a lot quieter than my but it's a little bit quieter than my old computer. Okay. Some people will be like, "Hey, Vince Wilfork is past his prime because the Patriots wouldn't have gotten rid of him otherwise," but I think he still has some football left and that he can really provide some pressure for the um, Houston Texans, but the absence of J.J. Watt will definitely suck significantly for the Texans. So yes, guys, I do believe that I've covered my points and that I'm done talking about J.J. Watt, but and the Texans 2016 season without J.J. Watt for the near future. But once again, I would like to wish J.J. Watt a quick recovery because it sucks that anyone has to get injured. But yeah, once again, a quick recovery for J.J. Watt. And yeah, I will see you all on Saturday. See you guys then. And see you guys later. Go Panthers. You know me. Go Panthers, man.